You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
And today on our Friday review, one of my favorite shows always of the week, I get to talk about all sorts of books that I've read, nutritional supplements that I love, and today is no different. We're going to be talking about, first off, a book that almost no one's heard of. I read some of the most obscure books out there. I don't even know how I find them half the time, but this one's called Ignore the Awkward, and it's how the cholesterol myths are kept alive. Of course, I'm not good at pronouncing names, and here's another one I'm going to give my best shot. Ufi Ravenskov, and he's an MD and PhD. And he wrote a book, very, very short book, on the absurdity of using statins and all of the research out there for cholesterol. Now, keep in mind right off the bat, I don't want to, misinform you that I don't think cholesterol is important. I do. But one of the things that you may not know is that statins are not all they're cracked up to be. And here's why. There's many, many simple facts about statins in this entire book. The book's great. It's only about, I think, 150 pages. And on every page is literally, here's some research, here's why it doesn't make sense. Here's how statins can actually increase your chance of cancer. And these are all from very reputable studies. I mean, the same studies that statins use themselves to prove that they're effective. And again, don't get me wrong, statins lower cholesterol. I'm not denying that. I would not say that they don't. They do lower cholesterol, but at what expense? That's what I'm saying. Meaning, if it increases cancer, if it increases other issues because it hasn't taken care of the inflammation, it hasn't taken care of any other issues that are the true underlying root causes of why you have high cholesterol, what is it really doing? And it is showing that there is a potential increase in cancer, that a lot of people still do have heart attacks, that when we're looking at the actual statin drug itself, that it decreases your body's ability to synthesize and use coenzyme Q10 to be actually created into ubiquinol that the body can use. So yes, the likelihood that you're going to develop larger amounts of cholesterol does go down, but your heart gets weaker. So you can still die from your heart becoming too weak, literally atrophying, but you won't have high cholesterol. That to me doesn't make sense. Why aren't we looking at those underlying root causes? And although in this book, we're not necessarily going into a lot of those underlying root causes, you're going into a lot of that makes you question whether people should be using statins or not. And that's all I'm looking for. That's all I want people to do is just keep an open mind. If after reading a book like this and many other articles online, you're like, okay, you know what? I still think that I should use a statin, then go ahead. I understand that. But read both sides of the equation. Don't just totally dismiss it like, oh, well, no, my cardiologist, my doctor knows exactly what they're talking about. Yeah, they're brilliant people. I'm sure they're very, very smart. But they haven't read everything. They're being given the specific pharmaceutical drugs from the pharmaceutical industry that runs our entire healthcare system, that literally runs how the education system is filtered and how it's created. You're not learning about natural treatments. You're not learning why cholesterol might be high because of a high cortisol response, because of inflammation, because of blood sugar-based issues, because of too many processed carbs. I mean, there's a million different reasons why. There actually aren't. There's only about 12. But you can just look at those things to find out why you have high cholesterol. I'll be talking about more about this in the future, just like I did on the high blood pressure episode earlier this week, where I went into exactly what you can do. I'll do that for cholesterol as well. For today, I just wanted to bring it to your attention that there's 71 million Americans, and I know this podcast goes out to everyone all over the world, and this goes for the entire world as well. It's obviously not just America. We don't get to hold the prize for, the most cholesterol-laden people. There are other people out there as well. And it's very important to me too, because Massachusetts is one of the top 5 states with the highest prevalence of cholesterol but at least the ability to be screened for it. And so we look at that. We're looking at essentially 1 out of 3 adults in the U.S. with high LDL, and that's what they consider the bad cholesterol, the low-density lipoproteins, the more dangerous ones, and the smaller the worse because they can kind of fit into those arteries, that endothelial tissue, and actually cause some more inflammation, some disruption, some tears in that tissue. So here's the thing. Yes, you should not have high cholesterol, right? You shouldn't have very, very high cholesterol, but you shouldn't have very low cholesterol. We're not going to get into that today. Below 140 can still be an issue for cancer. And yes, we don't want it a very, very high cholesterol either. So take care of your cholesterol. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't ignore it. But what I'm saying is statins might be not the best route to go. Just look into it. All right. That's all I'm asking. All right. Let's get on to topic number 2. So now I want to talk about one of the products that I do like to help people with leaky gut, as the popular term is now, or intestinal permeability. So keep in mind that I have the ability to use any functional medicine-based product in the world, literally, at our wellness center. And so what I look for are very high-quality products. This one is from a company called Orthomolecular Medicine, and this product actually has in it the 2 main elements that's needed to tighten up those junctions in the intestines that allow for that leaking of protein, bacteria, and all those issues. So just one little sidestep for a minute is that we don't use this in the beginning. What we do is we eradicate yeast, we eradicate bacteria, we eradicate anything that shouldn't be there, the biofilms, the parasites, whatever it might be. And then after that removal, which is around 12 weeks or so, then we add in the things to actually repair the gut wall. You could do it all at once if you want, but what we try to do is just save people a little bit of money, because the bottom line is we need to remove all that overgrowth first, that excess, and then we can add the good stuff in it after that to then rebuild it. And then we do that to, again, like I said, save some people some money. So, okay, so that's what we do first. And again, if you ever want to see what I use in my own wellness center with people to help everything from parasites to candida to small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, all of those things, just simply go to the StephenCabral.com website and just go to the store. Just click the little navigation tab at the top, click on store, and you'll see under the specialty supplements all the different things that we use to help people get phenomenal results. All right, so this product itself, it's a 30 serving container. Sometimes we use ours a little faster. It might be 15 days because we're typically using it twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. But it has some vitamin A. We're going to boost the immune system more so with that. But it has zinc, and it has a few other products, which I just mentioned. So it has zinc and has something called N-acetylglucosamine. And those 2 things help push or rebuild those junctions in the intestines. So all these little spaces that are supposed to be small, they allow for the fatty acids, the glucose, the sugar, and the amino acids from these foods, from your proteins, your carbs, and your fats, to gently move into the bloodstream, but they don't allow for whole strands to move through. And that's basically what intestinal permeability or gut permeability is. So that helps to rebuild that. And then you have a product called glutamine. Glutamine is really, really important. If a product only has glutamine and zinc in it, either zinc carnosine or this is a zinc chelate or chelate, what I'm looking for are those 2 specifically. I need those because from a science-based perspective, they do a phenomenal job at rebuilding the gut. Now, this product I like, one is because it's a powder, so you can use it in a smoothie if you want, or you can just take it on an empty stomach when you wake up, which is a lot of times how we do it. And it contains a few other bonus products. So it contains a product called DGL. And with DGL and aloe vera, which it has as well, those 2 things are very cooling. They literally help rebuild the mucosa layer, so the top layer of the intestines. They help to rebuild that. It's actually great for the stomach as well. This isn't necessarily meant for that, but it helps to rebuild that mucosa. So it calms down, it squelches that inflammation, and allows your gut to really rebuild itself. So again, this is just on the StephenCabral.com store website, and you just go to the gut repair, and you'll see essentially our gut repair protocol. It gives you the very specific probiotic that we recommend, as well as this product too. And you get it at the lowest possible price, which is kind of nice. And you get my step-by-step protocol that's included with that. All right. So that's a great product. Look into it, or at least look into the specific things that I talked about. And then our last topic for the day, as part of our Friday review, we're going to get into one of the things that I first learned about, I don't know, this must have been like 4 or 5 years ago when I was doing a lot of travel and going through a lot of different time zones. And someone gave me some essential oil to take with me, okay? It was a lavender-based oil. Now, this one was a little bit different. It literally was like a roll-on, but you can use it as a spray, and you can also use it as some organic essential oil drops. So now today, flash forward to the day, I use this in my own house for my kids to help them just kind of calm down. Lavender oil, the essential oil, has been known to be a natural relaxing-based agent. So the scent itself, remember, it goes from a perspective that our nervous system uptakes this scent from the lavender, and it starts to just calm and cool down the nervous system. All right. So we use it again, like just in our house with kids, bedtime, especially when we had babies in the house. It worked great. I would take it with me to travel. I would spray a little bit on my pillow, maybe 10, 15 minutes beforehand, a little bit on the sheets. And that scent really does, just from like a subconscious perspective, start to calm down the body. Really nice for a lot of people in their meditation practice to maybe have some oil being warmed, or they could use an infuser if they want, have a little lavender mist in the air. That's fantastic. For our massage, our health spa at the Boston Wellness Center here at the Cabral Wellness Institute, we use the lavender spray before every single organic customized massage that we have here. And so really, really can be an amazing product, something that I've used over and over, and I would only recommend things to you that I've seen work for the majority of people out there. So you can be pretty confident getting really any type of organic lavender-based spray or oil and using that a little bit around the house, or using it in a little bit of the massage oil that you might use, or in your meditation practice, or spraying a little bit on your pillow, or a little bit in your bedroom. Great stuff. Highly recommend it. Why don't I do this? I'll look up a couple of the brands that we use in particular. I'll link them up in the show notes. But if you're in your car and not able to get to the show notes or not, maybe do it at the end of the week. If you just go to stephencabral.com/podcasts, you can just click on that and you can see all the previous episodes. And if you ever want to find the show notes, obviously you can just go right to that link and it will just show you all the different show notes that we do have. But if you're not able to, of course, find an organic lavender spray or oil. Either one is great. I use both. And that will pretty much be everything that you need to get started. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another great week of the Cabral Concept.
Did you know that the body really only becomes sick or imbalanced in only 2 ways? Over time, you become deficient in vital nutrients, and you also accumulate toxins internally and from the environment. As those nutrients diminish and you increase your total toxic load, your body then begins to show the first signs of dis-ease. It's actually quite predictable, and the good news is that if we know how you began to fill up that proverbial rain barrel, we also know how to empty it to begin the healing process. I was fortunate enough to learn this ancient healing process from my mentor after suffering from debilitating diseases for close to a decade. It was only when I began to implement these techniques did I finally overcome my illnesses and go on to live a life of energy and vitality that I now enjoy. I'd like to share with you now what I discovered after traveling all over the world and how to combine the best of ancient healing wisdom with state-of-the-art science. Allow me to teach you exactly how I've been able to help over 250,000 people to empty their rain barrel and begin to transform their body and lives into what they've always hoped they could be. To get your copy of the international bestseller, The Rain Barrel Effect, simply go to stephencabral.com/rainbarrel.